Welcome to the Empowered Podcast, episode 90. Have you ever thought about how you could make money on YouTube? Now, today's guest is directly from an expert's call that I did with my membership site. Now, this guy is making over $1,000 a week, and it's full-time income from YouTube videos. We talk about how he got his inspiration, where he gets his ideas, the equipment that he uses, how he came up with his avatar, and what he credits most of his success to. This is going to be the episode. If you've ever thought about creating a YouTube series or putting your videos on YouTube or adding video to your business, this is going to be the episode that you want to listen to, as my guest today goes about his mission to break the mold of how families provide for themselves and work with each other to provide value to other people. I think you're going to love this episode. If video is on the horizon for your blog, for your business, or for your podcast, wherever you are in life listening to this, if video is on the horizon, you are not going to want to miss this episode. And if you like this type of interview, if you like the tools, the exact tactics that people are using to build their business, I want you to consider signing up for my membership site. If you go to empoweredpodcast.com/90, that's the episode show notes for today, empoweredpodcast.com/90. There's a link down at the bottom of that page to sign up for the membership site. It's just $1. You get a 30-day trial, and if you sign up now, you will get a chance to listen in on and participate with and ask your questions to next month's expert. I want you to be a part of that. I want you to be selfish and have the opportunity to ask questions that drive your business forward. So go to empoweredpodcast.com/90. Sign up for a trial membership. Again, it's just $1 for the first 30 days, and you'll have access to all of the calls like this, but not the edited version. This call was actually over 2 hours long of questions and answers with the fellow members, and we've condensed it down to something that you can digest in at about an hour format, and you can go over there and just get signed up for just $1. Stay tuned after the episode. I have an announcement and a phone number, so once we start wrapping up that call, make sure you have your cell phone out. I want to give you a phone number, and I've got some exciting news for August, or the end of July and August 2015. So let's go right into the episode. I do have to apologize. The audio is a little bit less than what you're used to hearing on the show. Patrick, since he travels, he doesn't have Wi-Fi at home, or he doesn't have a home internet connection, so he had to borrow some internet connection, and the audio quality is a little bit rough, but I'm positive you're going to love this episode. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in today. I'm here with my friend Patrick South. He's a YouTube master. He travels the country, maybe travels the world someday, but he definitely travels the country from between, I guess, Texas and Washington and wherever else he and his family feels like going, and he records videos of him and his son doing awesome stuff. He puts them on YouTube, and he's getting hundreds of thousands of views every single month, and it has turned into a business for him and his family that allows him to do this call right now from a Starbucks, and he'll have to tell us exactly where he is, but he's sitting in his car getting Wi-Fi because, as he says, as he just told me, and he'll tell you, he is a digital nomad. So Patrick, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Really haven't had an opportunity to tell my story very often, just really a few times, so
you are very welcome.
If it seems like I'm a noob at this, then that's because I don't really do it a lot.
No, that's fine. We're all friends here. No pressure or anything. Right. Where are you right now? I assumed you're in Washington. Is that right?
I'm in Oregon, Portland.
It's not Texas. It's all the same to me.
Right.
You know what?
It's 2025 miles. I'm right on the border where Washington is. So yes, I am close to Washington. We go to Washington every once in a while. But
so I was wrong then. You're Texas to Oregon, not Texas to Washington.
Right, right.
Ah,
But it's Portland, so it's basically Washington. All there is a river dividing them.
I'm sure they would
So yeah.
love to hear that up there, that it's basically Washington.
Well, yeah, they probably wouldn't like that, but we think it's all the same. It's just beautiful on both sides of the river. So, and that's why we came up here. We decided that we had enough of Austin's pretty, but a lot of the rest of Texas, other than like Tyler, maybe, there's beauty everywhere. But what I consider to be beautiful is like lots of really tall green trees and
Yeah.
being amongst them.
Yeah, I hear you.
So
Tyler is definitely a beautiful place.
it is, yeah.
So you are the May experts call for the membership site, and we want to talk about. We want to learn from you about making money with YouTube.
Yeah, so we started on YouTube a long time ago, like 6 years ago. My wife and I started doing a little bit of videos here and there. I was horrible, but she actually did fairly well. She was making like $80 a month or something like that. But at that time, I had nothing inside of me, or inside of my imagination, really, that inspired me to make good videos. It was just, I saw what everyone else was doing, and I'm like, that's just not my personality. That's just not me, I work hard. I'm a really serious person, But that was right around the time my son was born, and little did I know, within the next 2 years, I would change a lot.
Okay.
So Axel, which is the Axel Show, the show that we have on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
He was born, and this was about 6 years ago now. And something just changed in me over the period of like 2 or 3 years, and I became a much different person. I was much more engaged, much more happy than I ever was, just because I was able to have this connection. And he's just incredible. And I'm sure, all kids are. But
Well, before we go further, Patrick, I always like to ask people's background because, I've worked in IT for a long time, grew up with computers, video games, all that stuff. I'm very tech savvy. No engineer, but I know what I'm doing when it comes to technology.
Right.
Is that your background? I know you did something with fences, so I know you are the outside, doing the outside labor work like you mentioned. What's your background? Are you a tech savvy guy, or have you kind of figured it out as you've gone on?
Yeah, actually, I am not extremely tech savvy. It's been a real learning experience for me going through all this. I worked in construction. So the extent of my tech savviness was whenever I had to start, whenever I got an iPhone, I had to start getting an email and researching for prices and stuff online. I mean, that was the extent of my tech savvy.
Okay.
But I use Mac stuff, so, it turned out they kind of like help you along like a little baby with some of their products. So it's fairly simple for me to figure it out. No, never, not really tech savvy. I did construction, and that's actually part of the foundation for the show that we do is construction.
So tell us about that.
Really, so I was in construction, and a company worked for a family company. They did like $7 million a year, so they were doing pretty decent. But I was just the background guy. I was the helper, basically. Okay. So I knew everything about fencing. I knew it in and out. I knew the customer service side. I knew the installation side. I knew everything.
I wish I'd known that, because we want to get a gate in our wrought iron fence that'll let us out. And the guy never gave us an estimate, so I wish I'd known that. I would have had you do my fence or the company.
You know what, man? I heard of some brothers down in Austin. They look like they're doing really well. Some young brothers who started a company down there.
Very cool.
That's another thing. I like to research people's online presence for businesses. So, anyways, but came from construction, and I was part owner of the company. And I had a salary there, basically. But I was working 60, 80 hours a week. And for about 7 years, I just couldn't do it anymore. So Sarah, she went to New Media Expo 2013. I think it was in December.
It's 14. It's January. Okay. That's where I met her.
Right, exactly, yeah. You guys. And she just was so inspired by what you guys were doing and just the whole vibe,
Yeah.
So she came back, and she was just like, I could tell she was a different person, completely different person. And that's all it took for me to be, you know what, let's do something, you know. And we'd already actually made a children's book at that point. We were thinking along the lines of passive income, doing something we love, and making money at the same time. But it wasn't like I'm going to quit my job kind of thing. It was just like we need a little bit extra money.
So it started off as a hobby then.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And so we made a children's picture book together with my son Axel. We took pictures of him. It was construction, and then she did the editing in Photoshop. She got all that figured out. I wrote the story and choreographed the whole thing. So basically, it was a team effort for all of this. It's called Axel and the Forklift. You could look it up on Amazon.
Okay.
Or you can watch it for free. We have it for free on our YouTube channel. So anyways, I decided to quit my job, and we decided to sell our house and move up here to Portland. And we had a little bit of savings off of that, had a little bit of time to just sit and think, because the whole problem for me was, I'm like, I don't know anything about this online community. So like you said, you're tech savvy. I wasn't tech savvy. I wasn't online savvy. I didn't chat online or do anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
So the online community was something that was alien to me. But one thing I did know is that, I worked 60, 80 hours a week. When I got home, I didn't have any friends really. I mean, I had some friends from past, but I didn't really hang out with anyone.
Because you didn't have time to, even if you wanted
right.
to.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't have time to. And then I come home, and what little time I had left, I just spent with Sarah, my wife, and Axel. And me and Axel, we would just go play. And I was like a kid. I was just having the best time. As soon as he could play, I was playing with him. So we'd go to parks, we'd go downtown Fort Worth. We'd be out there till like 11 o'clock at night sometimes, just play. Kids would watch us when we were playing. And I thought this was odd because you have anything better to do, watch me play, You need to play. But what I realized is that whenever kids are seeing an adult play with another kid, like he's a kid, and I'm not saying being, silly and rude and, but just having fun and really genuinely being interested, it piques their interest. So I noticed also that Axel, he was starting to watch some stuff on YouTube and screen time. We don't like screen time a lot, which is part of the foundation of the show, actually, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, and at the end of every show, you say, "Hey, kids, thanks for watching, but go outside," right?
Yes, you're right, exactly. So I always encourage the kids at the end of every show, hey, you guys get out, use your imagination, have your own adventures, and that's what we do. Is we just play hard and we have fun. The best way to learn is to explore and learn in the moment. And so that's what you do whenever you're researching stuff online that you're interested in, right? I mean, you're just like, all of a sudden you hear about some news and you're like, research. Like that's when you learn a lot more than you would learn in business school even, because you're interested in it right then. They're not teaching you what they say. You're going to need this in the future. So I like to engage Axel, allow him to engage the real world through that, and then just let him explore and learn in the moment. And man, he remember that stuff like that, You don't have to sit and cram it in your head and study. You remember it like that. So anyway, so that's what we did. And I noticed also he was watching some stuff on YouTube. And I was looking at some of these videos. I'm like, man, there's these kids. They're just like playing with their trucks. It's just silly. The parents weren't talking or engaging at all. They're just holding the camera straight toward the kid. Man, these have millions of views. And then I put two and two together, seeing the kids who would watch us play. And I'm like, how much more engaging could I make a video like this if I was in it? And I was encouraging, because the kids don't know about cameras and like that. They don't really understand all that. But I was like, I could do something better here, like better quality for the kids watching it. They can learn a lot, and I know that I can get more engagement and more people watching me. So that's how it was born.
So you started hanging out with Axel more because you decided to stop the job and do something else, and
right.
You would go to parks, maybe the Floral Gardens or something, pulling a reference from my elementary school days that we went down there to Fort Worth. And he got to the age where he was starting to watch YouTube videos, and you started seeing what he was watching. Right.
Market research.
There you go.
What's my kid watching? Yeah, and really you can see the views too. You're like, oh, okay, this is what kids are watching, And I wasn't really interested in most of the stuff that the kids were watching, a bunch of crap. But I didn't like it. It's just basically the entertainment industry for kids, mainly, with the exception of like people like Mr. Rogers. They are trying to get kids in visually, which that's obviously what they're doing for everyone, but for kids specifically, they're trying to get them in visually because advertising to kids isn't really all that lucrative. And get them sucked into where they they no longer have the ability to use their own imagination for things because they are so entertained by the products of other people's imagination, especially with cartoons, that they're just they have to come back to this screen to get this experience. And they aren't really able to take a lot away from it other than the constant reminder that I really want to watch that again. I really want to watch more of that, you know? So that's what the entertainment industry is after. And in doing that, they create these, you know, this necessity for you to have in your imagination what it is that they're providing you. And then when you go to the toy store, and actually do shows about this, when you go to the toy store, you see the toys that remind you of what it is that you saw on the television, and it creates this excitement inside of you. So that's the gig. And like, there's a book called The Men Who Made Us Buy. And it basically talks about, you know, how entertainment for kids really wasn't around all that much until toy companies started investing in these shows and saying, hey, we'll dump some money in here for you to make this show. But we're going to make toys, you know, when we get the licensing to make these toys to sell that are based on the show.
Is this part of your background, Patrick? Did you go to school for this kind of stuff, or did you just...
No, just as a parent and as someone who's really interested in this whole industry. Like I said, I knew everything about fencing, and there's a reason for that, because whenever I want to research something, whenever I want to figure something out, I really want to know, how does this work? Like, I have to know the truth behind it, you know? And so, you know, I know that producing a show costs a lot of money. Where does that money come from, you know? How is it that advertisers really get their money back, you know? And I see firsthand, it really works with kids, with people too, obviously, but with kids, it really, really works. My son, and they're getting better. I mean, they're making apps and games, and like Hot Wheels, they make this app, and it's you know, Hot Wheels cars. And it's this app, and you play on there, and they have their new toys, like the new interesting toys. They have them as a game inside that app. And you get to play with this new toy within this app, right? For free. It's all free, right?
Triggered to get them to buy something.
Yes, it works too.
Okay. So you saw YouTube videos and thought you could do better just content-wise. Exactly. And you saw traditional marketing and thought there was a different way to do that.
Exactly. So I wanted to market ideas. I wanted to market concepts to kids. Okay.
So how did this? Let's move. How did this turn into an actual show? You went from no, it's okay. That's okay. You were playing. You were traveling from here to Oregon. You mentioned Fort Worth. Where did this? At what point did you say, okay, I'm going to start filming this and moving this to YouTube, and then creating a show and a channel and all of the things that go along with it?
Right.
That process.
Okay. So that story, we left. I had that in my heart at that time when we left. I was in February of 2014. But
so literally just a month, maybe a month and a half, depending on the day after Sarah had gone to New Mexico and come back. Okay.
It was 2 months. We sold our house and quit my job of 7 years. And, basically that was my life. It was going to be my life, the job.
That's some powerful marketing for New Media Expo, right? Quit. Because honestly, 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after I got back is when I got fired, and it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. So,
I remember that. I remember Sarah telling me that. See, at that point, I wasn't really following you guys as much, but I started after we quit. I had time. I didn't have time for it. After I quit, I had time. So I'm like, I was listening to your podcast. I was listening to Starve the Doubts. I picked 3. So. Internet Business Mastery, I was listening a little bit then, but mainly it was, I when I first started out, so I didn't end up listening to a whole lot. I quickly figured out that, I need to do something else. But right at the beginning, I started listening to you, I started listening to Jody's, and I started listening to Chris Cerrone.
Awesome. I'm happy to be, those are some great guys. So,
yeah, it just seemed like you guys were down to earth. You were more like, I could reach out and, grab you a little bit, And all these other people, I was like, I can't conceptualize this at all, But you guys are more like, yeah, we're on the ground too. I mean, we have a following, but we're not millionaires,
Awesome.
We can still speak your language,
Yeah.
So anyway, I was listening to it was one of Chris Cerrone's podcasts. He interviewed a YouTuber from he wasn't a full timer then. It's a really interesting story. They were making a little bit of money at that point. His name is Clintus McGintis, but they'd been doing YouTube for years, every day, daily vlog. And he did an interview with him, and Chris was like, "All right, I'm going to do a 30-day challenge. We're all going to do videos, once a day, 30 days."
I remember
I was
that.
like, "Oh, okay, I'll do that." Anyways, within like a few days, I figured out that like this isn't what I need to be doing. I don't need some challenge. Like this is something I really want to do, So, but it was good to have that like oomph to just get my video out on there and to have a few people to give me some feedback, So it was great. So nothing against the whole challenge with Chris Rowan. But I quickly figured out that like this isn't exactly what I need.
Cool.
Plus these people aren't kids, so but some of the people like the videos, so that helped. Anyway, so that's when the show started. I'd been wanting to do it for a while. I'd been recording for a while actually, but I just hadn't been doing it very well. So anyways, that's when it started. I started releasing videos at first. So here's what my whole deal was. We're familypreneurs, so it's something we're doing together. And so my son is a kid, he's not a worker. So whatever I do, it has to be just a little step, right? So I'm like, what does this look like, right? And I started thinking about, and I'm a real like simple person, simple-minded. I like to keep things really simple because otherwise, once it gets big or crazy or wild, if I don't have that simple foundation, I'm gone, that's it.
Okay.
So I realized that beforehand. I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that whatever it is, it's foundational. And so at first, all I thought, this was the only thing in my mind, this is a relationship. I have a relationship with Axel. It's a relationship that we love, we have fun with. And all I'm doing is I'm sharing that relationship with one kid, right? So I just had to keep one person in mind, just one kid. It was my imaginary kid that like, and that kid, he wanted, he enjoyed watching us. He wanted to watch more of us. He wanted to hear what we had to say. He wanted to see what we had to do. And also, he or she, I'm sorry.
Did you go into this thinking because that's how we would describe an avatar, my ideal listener, my ideal reader.
Okay, yeah.
Did you go into it thinking that, or was it just?
I wasn't thinking avatar, but yes, I did later realize that
okay.
That's what an avatar is.
Well, that question is kind of along the lines of some of the ones that we've got from the members. Is how did you kind of realize this? How did you stumble upon it? When did you realize you had the audience? So that fits right along with it. Right. So you didn't know that you were creating an avatar, but you did. How did having that avatar move you forward? Okay,
so the avatar, like you said, it was imaginary. So sure. It was something that I had a good idea about because my own son, because watching other kids watch us, because watching what kids were watching. But I didn't know, right? So I released some videos, started doing consistent like once a week. And the kids, I was getting 6 views, 10 views, 20 views, one of them got to 80, it was great, and I got 5 subscribers. It was great. But after about 2 months, I got a comment and it was from a lady and she's like, my son loves your videos. He watches them all the time. And I was like, whoa, so for me, that was solidifying my avatar, right? Okay, this person that I imagined existed, they do exist, And like I said, the money, it was not in my mind at that point. Even though I knew at the top of that I could make money with this, my focus was, how do I help a kid right now? Give him something he loves, enjoys, benefits from, and something he needs, he or she. But it's mostly he's because that's, because Axel's he, basically. So I just I need to help one person right now. That's enough. And then I'll add another person to that. And then I just know that if enough people like it, let's just say 50 people like it, 50 kids like it, right? If they really like it, then it's going to get shared, right? That's just the nature of this stuff. So if I can't get those 50 people, then, nobody's going to like this anyways. And I don't want to do something that people don't like. That's my whole business concept for me. When I was in fencing, it was the same thing. I don't want to build a fence that people aren't happy with. I don't want to sell them a fence that they aren't going to be satisfied with. Mm-hmm. I want them paying money for something that they don't really need. So I would have been a bad salesman. I made sure that they ended up liking it in the end. So anyways, but that's what I wanted for any product that I made online. I had to visualize it like that. I had to know the people need this, they want it, and then I'll figure out the money after that, you know?
Did it start off as, and this is a question from Steve, did it start off just wanting to record these moments that you were having with Axel?
Yes.
And you're just an online kind of diary thing. It wasn't.
No, it was, I wanted to entertain kids. I'll put it this way.
So you had the purpose to educate and entertain.
Yes, but no,
Okay.
I don't want to mislead anyone. The money was in my mind when I released the first video.
Okay. As in, this could happen someday.
Right. It's easier for me to focus on an avatar, like you're saying, an imaginary person that I know is benefiting from this. It's easier for me to focus on that than money. So money was something that was, I realized that I'm like, if I'm going to do something, spend a lot of time doing something, it has to potentially at least make some money, right? Because
gotta pay the bills.
My son is valuable, you know, and I have to work no matter what. I have to make money. So why not find a way to merge these two things? You know, most of the people listening probably aren't like, okay, I'm gonna go start a kid show. Yeah. So the concept behind that is, find something that like online that you know that people, you know, someone's benefiting from this. Start doing it. Start helping them. And, you know, people who are more business minded than I am can probably make money right off the bat, you know?
Well, I don't know.
Wasn't like that. So,
I mean, going in with the avatar first and wanting to make a difference instead of the money, I wouldn't discount that, because people who do go in money first don't always, or I don't know what statistic it would be, but surely they don't make money when money's what you're. It's like if you remember back before you and Sarah got married, you know, and all the people, all the married and single people can probably relate. When you're trying to find the perfect person, you can't find them, but sometimes you divert your attention to something else that comes along.
Right.
And it's the same relationship with the money. You are looking to create high quality content. Sure, it was in the back of your mind, but it wasn't the mission. Let's put the story and the growth on pause for a second. And let's talk about some of the equipment that you use. As part of the experts calls, I want to make sure I'm giving the equipping part as well as the empowering part of my mission statement. So are you still using the same hardware and software as you do day one?
So basically I wanted to make something that I'm just sharing a relationship, right? This is just another person right here with us. And this person is having fun with us. They're enjoying this with us. They're learning with us. They're laughing and crying with us. Actually, he'll fall down sometimes. Anyway, so point is that I needed something extremely versatile. Couldn't be a typical vlogging camera. So I got a GoPro right off the bat, obviously, because that was the GoPro, right? I quickly realized that there's a lot of problems with that. The GoPro, the audio is horrible. The video, there's lots of issues in Oregon. It was overcast at that point. The white light, GoPro didn't work. So I returned that and I got a Sony AS100. And it's an action cam, same thing, except it's the reviews, let me know that this is probably the camera for me. It has these two big mics on the front, and these mics are great. You don't have to have that cover over it. It's actually waterproof without the cover. You can't take it down underwater deep or anything like that, but you can put the cover on it when you're underwater. And so the sound was excellent. The sound was better than any vlogging camera without an extended mic. They had these two big microphones. Great. So it cost $200 less too. So
it puts it around probably either $150 to $200 mark, right?
It was $300.
$300. Okay.
Sorry, it was $500 for the GoPro. I bought I was like, I'm gonna go buy
probably like the. Back then, it probably would have been the Hero 3 Plus Black Edition or Platinum Edition or something.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it was oh no, I'm sorry, it was $100 less. Yeah, you're right. It was $399. It was $299 for the AS100. So saved $100 there.
We're talking. It's kind of expensive, but we're talking less than $500.
You don't have to have. In fact, you're better off without that camera because it's just all around not as good as like a Canon PowerShot, something that's like maybe $200, or like $150.
So you would recommend
your iPhone takes better quality, just all around like image. Like if you were looking, if I were to record a video with my iPhone and then watch it back on my computer, and I would record it with the Sony, the action stuff would be a little bit more difficult, but just talking to somebody, If that's what you're trying to do, your iPhone is actually better than the AS100.
Okay. So why the AS100?
The AS100 is because it was extremely versatile. The sound was great. I needed something that I could drop, that I could, if you watch the videos, you'll see I do all kinds of stuff. I'll mount the camera on a monster truck and ride it down a slide. I'll launch them into the water with it. I'll bring them down underwater and let them look at fish. And you know, so it's something that I need to be able to do lots of things with, but at the same time, I can pull right out and be, hey, I don't have to transition back and forth. I can literally stick this thing in the water, pull it out, and I don't even need a case on it. I can just
and you don't have to worry about your phone battery dying and missing a call from.
Yeah, right. There you go. Call interrupting. What's going on? Yeah. So
Sony AS100.
Sony AS100. But if you're looking for a camera, I would just look up a vlogging camera. Do your research on a vlogging camera. For YouTube, there's so much information out there, and I wouldn't tell you which specific one because they change so often, But that's what you want if you're trying to do some videos on YouTube, a vlogging camera. Look that up. They'll have lots of different reviews.
Okay. What else? What else you got going?
So then I also have Adobe Premiere Pro.
Okay.
It is tough to learn, but there's so many tutorials online. So I would say Final Cut, I think maybe is a little bit easier.
I do all my video editing in Camtasia.
Yeah, Camtasia. I've heard of that one too. When I did my research, Camtasia was one of the ones that came up. But I was also using Adobe Audition for my editing for podcasting.
Okay.
Just so I have a podcast with my son that's story time for children. So we do improv stories. We basically just sit down and tell stories. So I have a podcast that use that to edit it. And so, but whenever you get their monthly package, it's like $30 a month, which is actually a lot. Adobe doesn't allow you to actually purchase their software any longer. Any more updates, it's all subscription based.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's one thing that you would run into.
Do you have a mic that you use with all of this? Or just the one that's on the camera? I have a mic that I use for the
podcast, but it's a Zoom H4n with Audio-Technica, just regular mic that plugs into.
Sure.
Mine looks similar to yours, but I know it's not as expensive as yours.
Yeah, I've got the H4n as well.
Yes, yeah.
Everybody out there watching.
It worked great as like a mixer. You just plug it in, and I love it.
Awesome.
So just to give you some information about YouTube, the number one factor in how it is that they promote your video, because YouTube does promote you. It's not just search results. It's very, very, very human. The number one item that they look at is watch time. How much time are people spending watching this video? And that is the most important thing.
Is it time or percentage of the total length?
Let's just say a video is 30 minutes long. If people are watching 15 minutes of it, yeah, that's half, but it's 15 minutes. That's a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they're watching the first 15 minutes, you're golden, whatever. So my audience retention, this is another fun fact. My audience retention is not good for kids. It's about 40% audience retention, which means that 40% of all the people who watch my show, they only watch 40% of it on average. For kids, I just did some consulting with a guy that has seen many, many, many channels to do with kids. He said you should be around 80%.
So they watch 80% of the video, 10-minute video, they watch 8 minutes at least.
Right, exactly. So that tells me that I'm doing good. Now, it may not sound right, but I have a lot of views. I'm making a full-time income, and all I got to do is spend a little bit more time focusing on making sure that I retain their attention for longer.
Interesting perspective on that. I like that.
So he was like, good news and bad news. Good news is like your channel is doing great because you have something special going on here. And I know what that is. That's because of the avatar thing, right? That's because I know who I wanted to connect with, and I sat it out until I really found those people, But he also said that the bad news is that you could be making 4 times as much money as you're making right now if you just do a few simple things. So we put some of those things into play. First of all, so for all your audience, this is not just kids, right? This is anyone watching YouTube. They look at watch time. That's first of all. But there are some things you have to do to get them to initially start watching your channel, right? You have to do the tags. Tag is something you put inside of the video, right? Just like on website tags, there's the title of your website, maybe the header, but the tags are something that's in the background.
It's those little things you add when you upload a video. It's those things at the bottom, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So with websites, that's not quite as relevant anymore as far as SEO is concerned. With YouTube, it's still very relevant.
Okay.
But that's only initially. So they promote your video based on the tags and based on but if people don't watch your video, if they click it, oh, that's what I'm looking for. They click on it. No, this isn't what I was looking for. Then boom, you go down and you're down and you're never going to come back up because you misled people, right? YouTube knows that.
Google's smart, man. They get smarter all the time.
So even though my tags and titles weren't good at the beginning, or my thumbnails, okay, so just for everyone knows, thumbnails is the little picture you see when you click on a YouTube video.
Yep.
Or my thumbnails, none of those were good. But I stuck it out long enough to get this base audience that was like, I don't care what his title is, I don't care what his tags are, I don't care what their thumbnail looks like, I know I like guy's stuff. So the first most important thing is to make sure that you can retain the audience that you're looking to retain, right? Your avatar.
Okay, so lead with content.
Lead with content, exactly. So, but then reality is people are searching for things, right? People are looking for things. So thumbnails. Thumbnails are important for adults too. Tags are just as important.
Content, thumbnail, tag.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So in just a little bit of insight, the title doesn't have to be like including all your tags. The tags are almost just as important. YouTube promotes you even if your title really has nothing to do. So if somebody understands what they're looking for and their title doesn't exactly match their search, as long as they understand by the title that it's what they're searching for, something to do with that, then they'll click on the title even though it doesn't have the exact words or phrases.
I will say as a searcher, if I'm looking for something specific, like a specific model number, which Toshiba 3340 or something.
Right.
The guy that the videos that had that in the subject line, I mean, it wasn't all the specs, but it just had the model number. I knew that was specific to what I was looking for as opposed to all Chromebooks. So is there another fourth or fifth thing that you would add to that list? If not, okay, go ahead. Keep going.
The last one is to make sure that in the content, you really care about what you're doing. And that may seem silly, but because obviously, like, well, what are you doing if I didn't care about it? But people can see it when on video. People can see it in your eyes. Really, really are comfortable doing this. If you're not comfortable doing it, they're not going to be comfortable watching you. So that's something I had to realize. When I did videos before on YouTube, we were doing a certain kind of diet, and I was recording myself. I was very uncomfortable on screen, and no one's going to watch you if you are obviously uncomfortable on screen.
Awesome. So, how did that first $1 that you made with YouTube come in? Tell us about that.
Okay, so really short background to this. Initially, I never wanted to release ads. Never. My plan to make money was subscription-based. I wanted to prove the concept on YouTube and then get the parents to pay for it. So we built a subscription-based website. We were preparing to launch in January of this year. And we were getting ready for launch, and we moved back to Texas from San Diego and just kind of prepared for this. And then Sarah got pregnant. So at that point, we were getting about like 100,000 views a month, something like that, which was a lot for us at that time. We were like, wow, this is great.
It's probably a lot for most people.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, so Sarah got pregnant, and I was still so stubborn. Like, because I'd been doing this for so long, I'm like, I can go for another 2 years, doing this, not getting any money. And I know I'll make it eventually. And that was my determination. I'm going to make this happen. I don't care if I have to spend 4 years making this happen or 5 years. I don't care. If I go to school, I'm going to do that anyways. I'm going to have a job I don't like anyways, right?
Yeah, and you're gonna spend money and those same 4 years to do something you hate.
I wasn't spending any money right now. Like, everything we did, it was all twofer. It's like, we're having fun, having a great time, but the only difference is I got this camera right here and these kids. I'm sharing it with them. And I actually like that. I like this, sharing all this stuff. So
yeah, because you talk to in the videos, you talk to the camera like it's another kid just sitting there, just not saying anything.
It's a relationship. Okay. I have a relationship with them. The relationship grows the more I hear from the parents, the more I see the kids. The kids they'll post videos of their adventures that they have with us. I get a feel for that audience. I get a feel for what it is that they're benefiting from. And like, I've seen kids, they quote me line for line. They're like, "We're doing this today. We're in nature. We got our bare feet."
So people are saying that their kids are watching the videos and then going out and doing what you talk about on the recording.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Definitely 100%. I'm getting some really good feedback about how they're just like, I completely changed my perspective on this. We're using this as a learning experience, So whenever she got pregnant, I opened it up to my wife. We started talking about releasing ads. I was not allowing Google to advertise to the kids that were watching the show.
And you can do that on a per video
right.
basis in your video manager from your upload dashboard.
Right. So Sarah, my wife, she was like, "You're going to release ads.
You're going to do ads.
If you don't do it, I'm going to hack into your account and I'm going to release ads on all your videos."
How many views per month were you getting?
I was getting about, it was right around 100,000. It was less than, so like 80,000.
80 to 100,000, no ads.
No ads. And I started releasing it and we're like, oh, we made $20, today,
And that's from Google's ad network that they put ads on. I see Ryan Dice advertisements on videos because it's Google retargeting. And you've connected, I assume, a PayPal account.
Is a AdSense account. So same, if you have AdSense on your blog, it's the exact same company. AdSense, they work with Google. And it's a little bit different because when you're looking at your AdSense account, it's difficult to read exactly how much you're making. But we're on YouTube, you can see exactly how much. So we released ads and we started making a little bit of money. And then at that point, our YouTube channel was growing rapidly. It was doubling every month with a compound effect. And I was doing the math and I'm like, if it keeps doing this, even though we're only making like $30 a day right now or $40 a day, I'll be making a full-time income really quickly.
Well, when we first started talking about this, Patrick, you I think sent me a screenshot of it. It was either 2.4 or 2.7 million. I think it was 2.4 million views.
Right.
And then I looked a week later to email the members, and it was 2.7. I looked 2 days ago, and it was 3.4 something million, and I knew I didn't want to say 3.5 because it wouldn't be there. Right now, I just refreshed my screen. So 2 days ago, 3.43, so 3,400,000 and change thousand.
Right.
As of right now, it's 3,593,000 views. So in 2 days, that's 100,000 views a day.
Right.
And what blows me away is it says you joined, and maybe you had the other channel on something else, but it says you joined April 22nd, 2014. So we're literally, what is today, the 28th of May? We're a one year, 1 month, and 6 days to 3.5, almost 3.6 million views.
Right.
And those are a lot of the questions that we had is how is the money coming in? And
right. Okay. I know that's really the kicker for a lot of people because transition from something like entertaining kids to actually what kind of business you're trying to run. The middle point there is money a lot. So let me also tell people that I have another channel. I want people to know it's not just this channel that's making me my income. There's another channel that is pretty much the exact same thing. Kind of wish that I wouldn't have done it like this, but
and what's that one called, Patrick?
It's called Axel Trucks. It's like the Axel Show is what I started out with, but what I started seeing is that the kids were really responding to us playing with our toy construction trucks in creative ways. So I was like, well, what if I made another channel that was more niche and it's completely focused on trucks? And I'm like, and I don't have to worry about making the videos as like elaborate as the Axel Show videos. It's just us playing with our trucks and talking to the kids and saying, oh, look, I scooped this. I made that. Look, we made a road here. We made a construction site there. We're laying down pipelines that are sticks in the dirt. It's like it's a lot more simple.
That's another 1.9 million views.
Yes, exactly. So both channels combined, I'm getting about 100 and...
It's crazy, man.
About
That's
120,000 views a day.
So your income is going up almost exponentially. It started from nothing, as we all do, and it has steadily gone up, I assume, in a trajectory that follows your views to some extent.
It is. To some extent. Not exactly. Different days are better. So Google, they advertise based on your keywords. So stuff in your title and stuff in your tags, that's how they focus it. If you didn't have any tags, they would just advertise generally. But you'll notice you get different ads whenever you're watching different videos, and that's a lot of time based on what the video is about. So it's a tutorial about a vlogging camera will say. Well, you'll probably see an ad that's at least somewhere around that kind of thing. And that's because that ad, they're getting paid a lot more money for that ad than a Coca-Cola ad. So that's kind of how it works. Basically, if they know the audience, and they can narrow it down a lot more, which is a good thing about Facebook and YouTube. These people's interests because they're telling you, advertise to me about this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the money works with your tags and keywords, if they're relevant to the people, then they're going to click on it, or they're going to watch the whole ad. And let me just really be completely honest with you. Overall, with kids, your CPM is higher. CPM is cost per thousand. So what people are end up paying out for these ads, for kids, really young kids, it's more, about 25% more, we'll say, because they will watch that whole pre-roll ad.
They're not going to go to skip it.
Or they don't know to skip it, you know?
So I know if I had Google Ads on my site, I can go into my Google AdWords or AdSense. I get the two mixed up because I don't do them all that often. Right. I can go in. I don't believe in credit cards and debt, so I turned off all the bank ads. I disabled them. Do you get to choose those ads that go onto your YouTube channel, or? Yes.
So you can't tell YouTube who your audience is, even though I know who my audience is.
Can you say these are under 13 or something like that? You can't. Okay.
I can figure out what the age range of the people who are watching it, but that's just based on their account. The kids don't have an account; it's their moms. So
yeah, and if the mom's shopping bank something or getting a new credit card, it would most likely show up when they're watching YouTube.
Exactly. So if I have the parents on the show that are watching are women between the age of 25 and 35. That's most of my audience. But obviously, that's not my audience, right?
Unless you've got a bunch of cougars that are fans of Patrick.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay, so they are, because they're watching what their kids are watching, right? Offhand, right? They're paying attention. So, yes, they are aware that there's some of these moms are watching it. In a broad sense, really, you don't have all that much control. But I actually, to be honest with you, I kind of like it better. I'd rather them not be advertising towards the kids.
Sure. So we've got a question from Matt, Patrick, and he says, what have you found to be the most valuable monetization strategy? What's the best tactic for making money with YouTube?
So from my experience, make sure that your videos retain the audience. Now, I know I already said that, but that's the whole thing. It's all about views. And that's what YouTube, makes clear.
How do you do that? It's not, I don't know if kids respond to cliffhangers like, coming up, we're going to talk about whatever, or, how do you do that?
It's entertainment and engagement. So I really engage the kids. And so, like I said, it's difficult because there is a difference between a young audience like mine and an older audience. But you can extrapolate that difference. It's gaining their attention,
So this question, it's also from Matt. He says, are you concerned about safety issues with your family? And if so, what are you doing to protect yourselves? We know you're out in the world. We know that you travel. Yes. How are you doing that? What kind of safety things do you look at when you're so public online?
I never tell anyone exactly where we are. So we'll go to certain places and film like, oh, we're here today. We like this place. The chances of someone waiting around is, I think, more slim than me getting a car wreck and dying. So that's kind of how I gauge it. I'm like, what do I do every day that's dangerous? And how is it that I think that this is more dangerous? I realize that I'm putting my son on YouTube, and I realize that can be dangerous. But my plan for this is to allow him to carry his audience, right, into the future. So he can run this as his own business, the Axel Show. His audience might have similar interest in him in the future. So he could have his own show that he can run. He can be making his own money by the time he's like 16. But kids becoming entrepreneurs at a much younger age now, because things are changing. They aren't like they were before. Kids are having to become much more responsible at a very young age. And kids have the tools now at 16 to become millionaires.
We've got some people in the membership and that are in my masterminds that some are about to have kids, some about to have their next kids. Some are maybe done, but they already have 5 or 6 kids. But what an incredible gift, instead of buying somebody a car when they turn 16 or helping them with the down payment, you hand over a YouTube channel that 10 years before they turned 16 was making a full-time income. That'd be pretty awesome. I've talked a few times.
I don't think I would just hand the whole thing over to him. But I'm going to say that if you start doing the editing and you do the production, you do all this stuff, I don't even have to think about this really anymore. I'll give you this percentage of it. And you could still, and it's like if he's doing a video once a week, he could still pursue his interests. You know, he could still go to school if he wants to, or whatever. That's why we started the Familypreneurs. It's just like, what if we could make a full-time income? But it's not a lot of money, right? Like, we don't need more than like a full-time income. To me, is the base amount we need to survive in a healthy way, right?
Yeah.
So that's about like $35,000, and we cut all expenses. We don't buy a lot of things. We don't, we have our cars paid off. It's a really simple car. We live in a trailer, a travel trailer. Rent and expenses are like $550 a month. We live as simply as possible so that we can make our full-time income isn't a whole lot of money. Now,
which is
we're making
pretty
more
awesome.
than that. At this point, we can afford a house, we can afford some other things, but we don't have to have that. What we really want is time with each other and time to really focus on our son's education, and not education in the traditional sense. I mean, education like, what do you want to do, right?
That's a question that we've got from Renee. Do you feel there's value in having videos for kids who learn differently? And it sounds like what you're saying, you think that there is, that this isn't a full market she could create, and she's thinking about a product or a project that she could do for herself. Would you suggest that for someone?
Oh my gosh, yes. I would encourage you to do it, please. There is so much room for specifically kids' entertainment right now. What's out there is crap. It's not engaging. It's just not good. There is a huge piece of the pie here that I have a very tiny part of right now. That not anyone, I'm not going to say anyone, but anyone who really, really, really knows kids, who wants to be involved with kids, who wants to help kids to learn and grow. Once you have the parents on your side, I have parents that comment and say, I encourage my kids to watch your show, not other shows, right? So
that's
make
awesome.
something. So yes, please make something. I want someone to make a show because my son can only watch so many of my shows, right?
Does he watch them after he's been in them?
He does. Oh yeah, he loves watching them, but he'll watch them a couple times and that's it,
That's funny.
And just so people know, another reason why I'm getting so many views is kids watch things over and over and over.
So, a couple quick questions. You only have one kid right now. The second one's on the way.
Yes.
So
yes.
you don't have 5 like some of my guys do. How are you driving traffic to your YouTube channel? We talked about the inside YouTube SEO. The online marketers out there know YouTube's the #1 search engine in the world. How are you using social media? Do you blog? How are you getting people to the channel? Or is it organic?
It's organic.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I could say that it has more strategy. I mean, I've been trying some stuff on Facebook and Instagram, and so there's other ways you can make money on YouTube, right? Ads. You can funnel those ads. You can actually allow people to advertise on there. So there's a business side to this that I'm loving getting into. I'm really I love learning this, but someone else could be doing this a lot better than I am. As far as money's concerned, they could have made money sooner. They could have made more money sooner because they're able to really say, hey, this is the audience. Pay me double what AdSense is paying me to run your ad on this video. And I'm going to be getting into that. But right now, my focus is on content still.
Okay. But you are open to moving that direction.
Yes, and I am open and more than willing, and I am going to be moving that direction. We already have some ideas in the works that we're going to put into place. So yes, social media would help, but at the same time, like Facebook and YouTube, they're kind of competing as far as like video type stuff is concerned right now. I've been putting some of my stuff on Facebook, but they're just completely different platforms. So just think about, do you go to YouTube a lot from Facebook? Well, only when there's a link and only when it's really interesting. Most of the time, you're watching Facebook videos, right? Nobody gets paid for those, except for the people who are paying to put them on there.
Just, you gave me a quick question. I saw this thing on Facebook where people are taking YouTube videos, downloading them, uploading them on Facebook, and Facebook is allowing that.
Yeah. I don't know why, but
that would directly hurt people like you, right?
Oh yeah, it would. Yeah, and one guy, I know what you're talking about. One guy, he lost like $60,000 basically, is what he got, because somebody stole a viral video on YouTube, put it on Facebook, went viral there, and so it's definitely a problem. What I'm trying with Facebook right now, and it's working, is that my videos on YouTube, we'll just say 10 minutes average, but some of them are 25 minutes long.
Okay.
Facebook, no, not going to work, right? It needs to be a couple minutes max, 2 minutes max.
So longer videos on YouTube. Interesting.
What I do is I make a whole nother video, but it's for parents, right? And this video when you compress one of my videos, there's a lot of adventure and action in it. So I compress it down to a really action-packed, really fast-paced adventure video on Facebook. And then I do one on Instagram.
Wow. 10 minutes to 15 seconds.
Yeah. And you don't get the whole story, but you get a lot of action and a lot of fun. And basically the idea is to show, hey, parents, I know you're not watching all my shows, but look at this. This gives you an idea about what your kids are seeing, and then it'll let you have a little bit of fun with it too. I've had some success on there, but the whole problem is I'm not really a big Facebook person. I'm not on Facebook a lot. I don't have a big reach on Facebook. So yeah, I get many more views on my videos than I would get likes on my pages and stuff.
Okay.
But, my Facebook videos don't really get a whole lot of views. And I've realized that when I discuss this with someone on YouTube, they're like, look, YouTube, they want people on YouTube. They want people on Google+. They reward you for doing that, for using their own social media platform.
How often are you uploading videos and adding new content? Do you call them episodes, or how often?
Yes. So I now our current schedule is 4 videos a week, 2 on Axel Show and 2 on Axel Trucks.
How did you get there?
I was making a full-time income on 1,000 subscribers and 1 video a week.
Okay.
So I'm now making, I'll just put it this way. I was making about 55 with perks. I'd say about 60,000 at the company I was working for before per year, and that took me a long time working up, to get to that point. 7 years. I'm now making more than that. I'm not gonna say how much more. It's not a whole lot more, but you get the picture.
More than $60,000 a year, or more than 50. We'll just call it around 50.
So that's only, but we'll just say that's only in a month period. Because like I said, I don't own this. No one who does this on YouTube owns their audience. YouTube does. But because we understand that it's in YouTube's best interest, they don't make a mistake, right? They know why they're promoting it. They're doing it for a reason. So as long as if I just kept doing what I'm doing right now without, increasing it, I would still make the same. But I'm making it better. I'm optimizing it, and so that's why it keeps growing like it does. It's because I'm constantly adding more features and making it more interesting for kids, getting better at editing, So anyways, now YouTube is changing. They're going to start offering a subscription-based deal for YouTube. You can pay, they haven't said how much yet, but eventually you're going to be able to pay a certain amount per month, completely turn off ads from your account. That's going to basically be the money that you get paid is going to be based on how much time people are spending watching your video. So then people like my channel, I'll probably be making more money because my videos are typically longer than the most viral videos on YouTube. They're making a lot of money on those viral videos, but all of a sudden my videos 5 times as long,
I wonder if that's how Netflix does it, because once you get into streaming something, the streaming provider like a Libsyn or a YouTube, they've got to be able to track how much of that data is streamed. Where an ad, you could skip it, or it's a click. You can see how much time people are actually doing that. So
I know it makes money. I knew it would. I knew if I got a big enough following. But there's a few different types of ads that they run. There's the pre-roll ads, and you get paid based on that. Like if they watch the whole ad, it's basically like a click. So if anyone has a blog, AdSense, it's similar to if they were to click on an ad on your blog. So if anyone knows how much money you get paid for that, it's a few cents per click, right? And then certain days, certain keywords. So like the keywords, the tags that you put inside the video, if you niche that down and it's a relevant audience and they click on that ad, you can get, we'll just say it ranges between 2 and 12 cents or something like that. You can get more like 12 cents per click, if it's a really relevant ad. So I'll see things go up whenever I know I'm like, oh, I got a good tag, and it's getting more views. And okay, so then when people are watching that whole pre-roll ad, I get a lot more money for that because the advertiser that's bidding for it is bidding a higher amount for someone who is, let's say, first, if you watch a video that has this tag and they click on the ad, those things together, it equals a lot more money. So we'll just say I'm in this average ball range of like 2 to 5 cents.
2 to 5 cents, but it's hundreds of thousands of views.
See, it's not a click every time, right? And then there's also the banner ads that you see, right? So there's no pre-roll, but there's a little banner ad that pops up that's underneath the video. If they click on that, you get money. And that's the most I get is from the pre-roll ad, and that's from the ones that are right at the beginning. So anyway, that's what I get most of it from. But again, with adults, it's different. They are much less likely to watch that pre-roll ad, which will cut your income down by 25% or something like that. So.
Yeah, I generally don't The best ads, I don't know if this would even work for the kids show. The best ones are the ones that are really interesting.
Yes.
They tell a story in that little 15-second.
Yeah, it's like a YouTube video before a YouTube video, basically. Yeah, no, you're right. You're exactly right. And I do end up watching those sometimes. But so that's the little bit of money. And then RPM is your rate per thousand, so how much you get paid per thousand views typically. And that's not an exact science. It's just telling you, hey, look, your RPM is up because you're doing better about, marketing to a more niche audience. So the average RPM is about $2. That's what you can expect to get if you start a YouTube channel that's not in such a niche audience. Now, some people are making even more than that aren't in kids' audiences, right? They're maybe in tech. They can make a lot more than that, because those are high-dollar items that we're talking about here. If you have advertisements that are very similar to that on your site, people are willing to pay a lot more for that, right? So you don't get money for a view unless they viewed that ad.
Have you thought about using an Amazon affiliate link down in the comments and those kinds of things? Have you started doing that?
That's one of the ideas, yeah. So here's the thing, though. We're not product people. There are certain products that we're like, we actually really like this product. So what I did was I just did kind of a test video with this. I didn't put an affiliate link. I put a link, but I didn't have an affiliate link yet. So I put a link down there, and I got a good response from it. But none of these videos are viral. They're all videos that people are just really watching over and over again and enjoying and reaching new audiences. And I had a solid foundation, but it's not like it's just some weird, I don't know, this just happened,
Your most popular video is toy recycling truck, toy loaders, it's 831,000 views on the Axel Show.
Yes.
And the next highest one is, the next highest one is another dump truck. Here's my question. Between the two, you've got almost 1.1 million views, and then you have some that are in the low thousands or 100. What did you do on Toy Dump Truck Pours Cement at 296? What's different about those videos?
Okay, so that is a product of me honing down on my skills, basically. I gave the audience something really entertaining at the beginning. It was something unique. Like I was basically constructing something, like really constructing something, like an actual construction site, but I was using toys.
Well, if you're constructing something, that's a story within a story. People are want to follow that. So
you have to stick out in the niche audience. But if you also make it something that's shareable, so what I mean by that is it's like, this person is doing this thing for kids, but there's so much more going on. It's for parents too.
Awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us today, Patrick. I have personally learned more about YouTube and how it works and best practices. So if you are listening to the podcast version of this, go to Empowered Podcast, scroll till you find the Patrick South episode. It'll probably be in the late 80s, my guess would be. So if you are scrolling through this far in the future, go to the late 80s. And you will find it there. Patrick, if somebody would want to connect with you, say thanks for spending time with us today, or check out what you are doing online, where can we send them?
Okay, so I'm on Twitter at Patrick T. South, S-O-U-T-H, and Patrick at patricksouth.com is my email. I'm hearing those things on Apple blog called Familypreneurs. So it's thefamilypreneurs.com.
Awesome.
Just axelshow.com is the YouTube channel.
Well, we'll link up all those in the show notes. And thanks again, Patrick, for hanging out with us.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you for giving me the chance to talk to people and share this. And again, I just want to really encourage people that if you are interested in getting in this whole space for kids, it's huge. I mean, there's so much space here. Parents are looking for something unique. They're looking for something better. Big companies can't really give that to them. They're looking for individuals, and can find a way to find that niche audience if you just really, really care about what you're doing. So,
great way to end the show. And again, thanks for all your time, and best of luck to you and Axel and the new baby that's coming this way.
Thank you. Have a good one, Ellie.
Man, I don't know about you, but I am ready to get behind the camera and start filming every sort of YouTube video that I can possibly think of or come up with. I just last night, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, the day this comes out, just last night, I upgraded to a Galaxy S6, this sleek little phone. It looks beautiful, and I'm hoping the bugs that were keeping me from getting on Periscope with my Galaxy S4 are gone, are fixed, are not a factor on the Galaxy S6. I talked about Periscope a couple episodes ago and how I think it will change how we do everything. So go back and listen to that. But I can do all sorts of cool videos with this thing. I'm thinking about how we can incorporate more video into the blog and podcast and really create a multimedia experience. I want to try new things and create something that you, listener, that you want to interact with and look forward to, and something that might be a little bit different. And I'm trying to figure out ways to do that, and this episode with Patrick really encourages me to do more with video and also to put it up on YouTube. And maybe it encourages you to do the exact same thing. I told you at the beginning of the episode that I have a surprise for you. It's not really a surprise, but I have a phone number for you. I want you to pull out your phone. I want you to go to your messaging app, and I want you to text a phrase to 773-770-4377. I want you to text PM15 event, no dashes or spaces, just PM15 EVENT to 773-770-4377. If you are going to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area the last week of July and the first week of August, that's when Podcast Movement is. And by the way, you should attend this conference. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm going to be on stage, but that's not the point. I am going to host an event where I get the community together, people who read the blog, enjoy the podcast, some of my coaching clients and mastermind members who can make it and who can attend. I want you to text PM15 event to 773-770-4377. Yeah, it's a lot of sevens, as my wife told me, but 773-770-4377. Text that. And I will let you know when and where that meetup is going to be. And if something changes, I can just send you a quick text and say, hey, we're relocating. We had too many people and they kicked us out, or we were having too much fun, or whatever happens, and we had to relocate. So text PM15 event to 773-770-4377. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Empowered Podcast, where we talk about mindset and we talk about the tools to help you get started. I'm your host, Ellery Wells. We'll see you next week.